The United States men's national soccer team, often referred to as the USMNT, represents the United States in international soccer. It is controlled by the United States Soccer Federation and competes in CONCACAF, the Confederation of North, Central American and Caribbean Association football. The team is ranked 13th in the world according to both the FIFA World Rankings and the World Football ELO ratings. They have appeared in the last 7 FIFA World Cups and hosted the 1994 edition. The men's national team competes in the FIFA World Cup and the FIFA Confederations Cup, in addition to the CONCACAF Gold Cup and other competitions by invitation, such as the CONMEBOL Copa America. They achieved their best result when they reached the semi-final at the 1930 World Cup, finishing third. This is also the highest finish of any team from outside of South America and Europe. After qualifying for the 1934 World Cup, and withdrawing in 1938, the next World Cup participation came at the 1950 tournament, causing an upset by defeating England 1-0 in their second group match. After 1950, the US didn't qualify for the World Cup again until 1990. After the 1990 World Cup, the US qualified automatically as hosts of the 1994 World Cup, eventually losing to Brazil in the round of 16. The team has qualified for every World Cup since, including the 2014 World Cup. The national team improved on an international level, reaching the quarter-finals of the 2002 FIFA World Cup, where they lost to Germany 1-0. In 2009 they reached the final of the FIFA Confederations Cup, eliminating top-ranked Spain 2-0 in the semi-finals before losing to Brazil 3-2 in the final. History. Early years. The first United States national team was constituted in 1885, when they played Canada in the first international match held outside the United Kingdom. Canada defeated the US 1-0 in Newark, New Jersey. The United States had their revenge the following year when they beat Canada 1-0, also in Newark, although neither match was officially recognized. The U.S. earned both silver and bronze medals in men's soccer at the 1904 St. Louis Summer Olympics through Christian Brothers College in St. Rose Parish, though the tournament has since been unofficiated by FIFA. The United States played its first official international match under the auspices of U.S. Soccer on August 20, 1916, against Sweden in Stockholm, where the U.S. won 3-2. The U.S. fielded a team in the 1930 World Cup in Uruguay, the first ever World Cup. The U.S. began group play by beating Belgium 3-0. The U.S. then earned a 3-0 victory over Paraguay, with FIFA crediting Bert Patenaude with 2 of the goals. In November 2006, FIFA announced that it had accepted evidence that Patenaude scored all 3 goals against Paraguay, and was thus the first person to score a hat-trick in a World Cup. In the semi-finals, the U.S. lost to Argentina 6-1. Using the overall tournament records, FIFA credited the U.S. with a third-place finish ahead of fellow semi-finalist Yugoslavia. The finish remains the U.S. team's best World Cup result, and is the highest finish of any team from outside of South America and Europe. There was no official soccer tournament in the 1932 Olympic Games. In an informal tournament, the United States finished first, followed by Mexico and Canada. The U.S. qualified for the 1934 World Cup by defeating Mexico 4-2. He played Italy and lost 7-1, eliminating them from the tournament. The Olympic soccer tournament was reinstated in the 1936 Olympic Games. The 1950 World Cup in Brazil was the United States' next World Cup appearance. They withdrew from the tournament in 1938. The USA lost its first match 3-1 against Spain, but then won 1-0 against England at Independência Stadium in Belo Horizonte. Striker Joe Gartchens was the goal scorer. The result is considered one of the greatest upsets in the history of the World Cups. Months before the famous World Cup loss to the USA, England had beaten an all-star rest of Europe side 6-1 in an exhibition match. Sports Illustrated and Soccer Digest have called World Cup upset by the Americans in 1950 the Miracle on Grass. In USA's third game of the 1950 tournament, a defeat by Chile by a 5-2 margin saw the U.S. eliminated from the tournament. It would be 4 decades before the United States made another appearance at the World Cup. Attempted success. After the creation and rise of the North American Soccer League in the 1960s and 1970s, it seemed as though the U.S. national team would soon become a force in world soccer. Such hopes were not realized, however, and the United States played only 2 international matches from 1981 to 1983. To provide a more stable national team program and renew interest in the NASL, U.S. Soccer entered the national team into the NASL for the 1983 season as Team America. This team lacked the continuity and regularity of training that conventional clubs enjoy, and many players were unwilling to play for the national team instead of their own clubs. Team America finished the season at the bottom of the league. U.S. Soccer cancelled this experiment and withdrew the national team from the NASL. By the end of 1984, the NASL had folded, and there was no senior outdoor soccer league operating in the United States. U.S. Soccer targeted the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles and the 1986 World Cup as means of rebuilding the national team and its fan base. The International Olympic Committee declared that teams from outside Europe and South America could field full senior teams, including professionals, that had never played in a World Cup. U.S. Soccer rearranged its Olympic roster, cutting many collegiate players and replacing them with professionals, but the U.S. finished 1-1 and failed to make the second round. The United States bid to host the 1986 World Cup after Colombia withdrew from hosting due to economic concerns, but Mexico was chosen to host the tournament. In the last game of CONCACAF qualifying for the 1986 World Cup, the U.S. needed only a draw against Costa Rica to reach the final qualification group against Honduras and Canada. U.S. Soccer scheduled the game to be played in Torrance, California, an area with many Costa Rican expatriates, and marketed the game almost exclusively to the Costa Rican community. Costa Rica won the match 1-0, and kept the United States from reaching its 4th World Cup finals. In 1988, U.S. Soccer attempted to re-implement its national team as club concept, offering contracts to national team players to build an international team with something of a club ethos, while loaning them out to their club teams, saving U.S. Soccer the expense of their salaries. This brought many key veterans back to the team, and the success of the NASL during the 1970s had created an influx of talent from burgeoning grassroots-level clubs and youth programs. Thus U.S. Soccer sought to establish a more stable foundation for participation in the 1990 World Cup than had existed for previous tournaments. Rise in the U.S. In 1989, FIFA named the United States as the host of the 1994 World Cup, but it did so under significant international criticism because of the perceived weakness of the national team and the lack of a professional outdoor league. This criticism diminished somewhat when a 1-0 win against Trinidad and Tobago, the U.S.'s first away win in nearly 2 years, in the last match of the 1989 CONCACAF Championship, earned the United States its first World Cup appearance in 40 years. For the 1990 World Cup in Italy, 2 of the team's more experienced players, Rick Davis and Hugo Perez, were recovering from serious injuries and unavailable for selection, and manager Bob Ganzler selected many inexperienced players and recent college graduates. The U.S. lost all 3 of their group games to Czechoslovakia, Italy, and Austria. In a historical match, in 1993 U.S. Cup, U.S. beat England by 2-0. Having qualified automatically as the host of the 1994 World Cup under Bora Milutinovic, the U.S. opened its tournament schedule with a 1-1 draw against Switzerland in the Pontiac Silverdome in the suburbs of Detroit, the first World Cup game played indoors. In its second game, the U.S. faced Colombia, then ranked 4th in the world, at the Rose Bowl. Aided by an own goal from André Copyright S. Escobar, the United States won 2-1. Escobar was later murdered in his home country, possibly in retaliation for this mistake. Despite a 1-0 loss to Romania in its final group game, the U.S. made it to the knockout round for the first time since 1930. In the group of 16, the U.S. lost 1-0 to the eventual champion Brazil. Despite this success, Bora was fired in 1995, reportedly because he was not interested in administrative duties. In the 1998 World Cup in France, the team lost all three group matches, 2-0 to Germany, 2-1 to Iran, and 1-0 to Yugoslavia, finishing dead last in the field of 32. Head coach Steve Sampson received much of the blame for the performance as a result of abruptly cutting team captain John Harkes, whom Sampson had ironically named captain for life shortly before, as well as several other players who were instrumental to the qualifying effort, from the squad. It emerged in February 2010 that Sampson removed Harkes from the team due to Harkes allegedly having an affair with teammate Eric Ginalda's wife. In the 2002 World Cup under Bruce Arena, the U.S. reached the quarter-finals, its best finish in a World Cup since 1930. The team reached a knockout stage after a 1-1 record in the group stage. It started with a 3-2 upset win over Portugal, followed by a 1-1 tie with co-host and eventual semi-finalist, South Korea. It then lost its third and final match 1-3 to Poland but still qualified for the second round when South Korea defeated Portugal. This set the stage for a second-round face-off with continental rivals Mexico, the first time they met in a World Cup. The U.S. won the game 2-0. Brian McBride opened the scoring, and Landon Donovan scored the second goal. That victory advanced the team to the quarter-finals, where they met Germany. The team lost 1-0. After being denied a penalty when Torsten Frings handled the ball to prevent a Greg Berhalter goal. In the 2006 World Cup, after finishing top of the CONCACAF qualification tournament, the U.S. was drawn into Group E along with the Czech Republic, Italy, and Ghana. The United States opened its tournament with a 3-0 loss to the Czech Republic. The team then drew 1-1 against Italy, who went on to win the World Cup. The United States was then knocked out of the tournament when beaten 2-1 by Ghana in its final group match, with Clint Dempsey scoring the U.S.'s only goal in the tournament. Recent success: after failing to maintain his 2002 success at the 2006 World Cup, Bruce Arena was replaced by his assistant Bob Bradley. In the 2007 Gold Cup, the U.S. won its group. With a 2-1 win over Panama in the quarter-finals, the U.S. defeated Canada 2-1 in the semi-finals. In the final, the United States beat Mexico 2-1, which qualified them for the 2009 Confederations Cup. The team's disappointing Copa America Copyright Rica 2007 campaign, fielding a second-tier team, ended after 3 defeats in the group stage. The highlight of summer 2009 was the 2009 Confederations Cup. In the semi-finals, the U.S. defeated Spain 2-0. At the time, Spain was atop the FIFA World Rankings and was on a run of 15 straight wins and 35 games undefeated. With the win, the United States advanced to its first-ever final in a men's FIFA tournament. However, the team lost 3-2 to Brazil. The United States then hosted the 2009 Gold Cup. The United States defeated Panama 2-1 in the quarterfinals, and defeated Honduras 2-0 in the semi-finals. In the final, the United States was beaten by Mexico 5-0. This defeat broke the U.S. team's 58-match home unbeaten streak against CONCACAF opponents, and was the first home loss to Mexico since 1999. The U.S. qualified for the fourth round, or hexagonal, of the 2010 World Cup qualification. The U.S. began the fourth round by beating Mexico 2-0, a loss that extended Mexico's losing streak against America on U.S. soil to 11 matches. Next, the United States earned a 2-2 draw away to El Salvador. Josie Altidore became the youngest U.S. player to score a hat-trick, in a 3-0 victory over Trinidad and Tobago. Next, the U.S. were defeated by Costa Rica 3-1. The United States defeated Honduras 2-1. Near the end of the summer of 2009, the United States lost 2-1 to Mexico at Estadio Azteca. The United States then defeated El Salvador 2-1. Then the U.S. beat Trinidad and Tobago 1-0. On October 10, 2009, the United States secured qualification to the 2010 World Cup with a 3-2 win over Honduras. 4 days later, the U.S. secured first place in the fourth round with a 2-2 draw against Costa Rica. In the 2010 FIFA World Cup, the U.S. team were drawn in Group C against England, Slovenia and Algeria. After drawing against England, 1-1, and Slovenia, 2-2, the U.S. defeated Algeria through a Landon Donovan stoppage time goal, the first time the USA had won its group since 1930. In the round of 16, the U.S. was eliminated by Ghana, 2-1. On FIFA's ranking of World Cup teams, the USA finished in 12th place. The U.S. team began their 2014 FIFA World Cup qualification with a 2-0 defeat by Brazil in the New Meadowlands Stadium. In preparation for the 2011 CONCACAF Gold Cup, the U.S. played 3 friendlies. A 1-1 draw to Argentina, a 1-0 loss to Paraguay, and a 4-0 loss to Spain. The United States hosted the 2011 Gold Cup. The U.S. advanced past the group stage with a pair of victories over Guadeloupe and Canada, despite losing to Panama 2-1. This was the first defeat for the U.S. in a Gold Cup group stage match, and its first ever loss to Panama. In the quarter-finals, the United States defeated Jamaica 2-0. In the semi-finals, the U.S. avenged their group stage defeat with a 1-0 victory over Panama, and advanced to its 4th consecutive Gold Cup final, where the team faced Mexico in a rematch of the 2009 Gold Cup final. The United States was beaten by Mexico 4-2, extending Mexico's winning streak against the U.S. to 3 matches. It was also the 2nd consecutive loss to Mexico on American soil. Following the loss, Bob Bradley was relieved of his duties as coach. On July 29, 2011, Jawan Kortara-Gen Klinsmann was named as the national team's head coach. After their first 6 matches resulted in only a win and a draw against 4 losses, the U.S. embarked on a 5-game winning streak. On February 29, 2012, the team won 1-0 in Italy, the first ever win for the USA over Italy. In 2012, the team began its World Cup qualification, and topped their third-round qualification group with 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat. On June 2, 2013, the U.S. played a friendly against the B team of second-ranked Germany in its centennial celebration match at a sold-out RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. The U.S. won 4-3. This was the USMNT's first win over a top 2-ranked team since the 2009 FIFA Confederations Cup. On June 7, 2013, the U.S. beat Jamaica 2-1, the U.S.'s first ever qualification victory at Jamaica. On June 11, the U.S. beat Panama 2-0 at CenturyLink Field in Seattle in front of almost 41,000 fans, the 7th largest crowd for a World Cup qualifier on U.S. soil. The game also drew the 2nd largest TV audience on ESPN for a U.S. World Cup qualifier. On June 18, the U.S. followed with a 1-0 victory over Honduras at Rio Tinto Stadium. In July 2013, the U.S. hosted and played in the 2013 CONCACAF Gold Cup, where they went undefeated in the group stage and won with a 1-0 victory over Panama in the final, a victory which represented a record 11th straight win. A 4-3 victory over Bosnia in an international friendly match in Sarajevo represented the 12th straight win for the USMNT, the longest winning streak for any team in the world at the time. The match was also the USMNT's first ever come-from-behind win in Europe. On September 6, 2013, the 12-game winning streak came to an end when the U.S. lost to Costa Rica 3-1 at Costa Rica. By defeating Mexico 4 days later, the U.S. clinched a spot in the 2014 World Cup. For the 2014 World Cup, the U.S. was drawn into Group G, along with Ghana, Germany, and Portugal. On June 16, the U.S. took revenge on the Ghanaians, winning 2-1. They drew their second group game against Portugal 2-2, leading 2-1 until the 90-plus 5th minute when Portugal equalized. In the final game of the group stage, the U.S. fell to Germany 1-0. enabling the Germans to finish in first place. Despite that, the US move on to the knockout stage by virtue of Portugal's 2-1 win over Ghana. This is the first time that the team will make 2 consecutive trips to the knockout stage of the FIFA World Cup. In the round of 16, the US lost 2-1 to Belgium, with all 3 goals scored in extra time. Team image, media coverage. ESPN has English language rights to all friendlies and all home World Cup qualifiers from 2010 to 2014. Matches will be televised on ESPN or ESPN2. beIN Sport USA has English language rights to all away World Cup qualifiers from 2010 to 2014. Univision has Spanish language rights to USA's national team matches from 2010 to 2014. Matches will be televised on Univision, Unimaes, or Galavision, uniforms. Since their first unofficial game against Canada, the uniforms have frequently featured white tops with blue shorts. In 1950, the US adopted a Peru style, featuring a diagonal stripe across the shirt. The stripe has been on third kits for 2003, 2004, and 2006, as well as the 2010 home, away and third kits. Adidas was the uniform provider for the United States from 1985 until 1994. Since 1995, Nike has been the uniform supplier. Rivalries. The teams of Mexico and the United States are widely considered as the 2 major powers of CONCACAF. Matches between the 2 nations often attract much media attention, public interest and comment in both countries. Although the first match was played in 1934, their rivalry was not considered major until the 1980s, when the teams began to frequently compete in CONCACAF Cups. On August 15, 2012, the United States defeated Mexico at Estadio Azteca in the first victory for the U.S. against Mexico on Mexican soil in 75 years. Supporters. The main supporter groups backing the United States men's national soccer team are Sam's Army and the American Outlaws. The 2 groups are usually put together in a supporters section at U.S. home games. Sam's Army started shortly after the 1994 World Cup in the United States. Sam's Army members wear red to matches, sing or chant throughout the match, and often bring huge American flags and other banners to the game. The American Outlaws was started in Lincoln, Nebraska as a local supporters group. The group's membership attempted to address a lack of consistency from game to game and supporter organization and social events on match days. To achieve this goal, the American Outlaws became a nationwide, non-profit, supporters group. Some American Outlaws members wear American flag bandanas over their faces. Home stadium. The United States does not have a national stadium, though international matches are usually played at various large venues around the country, the most popular being RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., where 21 matches have been held. Coaching staff. Players. For all past and present players who have appeared for the national team, see United States men's national team players. Current squad. The following 23 players were named to the 2014 FIFA World Cup squad. Caps and goals are updated as of July 1, 2014 after match against Belgium. Recent call-ups, the following are capped players who were named in a squad in the last 12 months. Results and fixtures. For all past match results of the national team, see single-season articles and the team's results page. 2014. Records. Active players are shown in bold. Competitive record. For the all-time record of the national team against opposing nations, see the team's all-time record page. The United States regularly competes at the FIFA World Cup and the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The U.S. has also played in the FIFA Confederations Cup, Copa America copyright Rica by invitation, as well as several minor tournaments. The U.S. men's team played in the Summer Olympics when that tournament was considered a full international tournament, but since 1988, the men's Olympic event has been age-restricted, and participation has been by the United States men's national under-23 soccer team. The best result for the United States in a World Cup came in 1930 when they reached the semi-finals. The best results in the modern era include the 2002 World Cup, when the U.S. reached the quarter-finals, and the 2010 World Cup, when the U.S. won its group. In the Confederations Cup, the United States finished in third place in both 1992 and 1999, and were runner-up in the 2009 Confederations Cup. During the 2009 Confederations Cup, the United States appeared in their first-ever intercontinental tournament final. In the semi-finals, the United States upset top-ranked Spain, 2-0, to advance to the final. In the final, the United States lost 3-2 to Brazil. In regional competitions, the United States has won the CONCACAF Gold Cup 5 times, with their most recent title in 2013. Their best-ever finish at the Copa America came in a fourth-place finish in 1995. FIFA World Cup, FIFA Confederations Cup, Summer Olympics, CONCACAF Gold Cup, CONCACAF Championship 1963 Euro 1989, CONCACAF Gold Cup since 1991. CONMEBOL Copa America, Honors, Major Competitions, FIFA World Cup, Third Place, 1, 1930, Quarterfinals, 1, 2002 FIFA World Cup, FIFA Confederations Cup, Runners-up, 1, 2009, Third Place, 2, 1992, 1999, CONCACAF Championship/CONCACAF Gold Cup, Winners, 5, 1991, 2002, 2005, 2007, 2013, Runners-up, 5, 1989, 1993, 1998, 2009, 2011, Third Place, 2, 1996, 2003, Copa America, Fourth Place, 1, 1995, Minor Competitions. Pan American Games, Gold Medal, 1, 1991, Bronze Medal, 2, 1959, 1999, U.S. Cup, Winners, 3, 1992, 1995, 2000, Marlboro Cup, Winners, 1, 1989, see also. Soccer in the United States, United States Women's National Soccer Team, Honda Player of the Year, United States at the Team Sports International Competitions, U.S. National Soccer Team Players Association, U.S. Soccer Athlete of the Year, United States National Soccer Team Results, References. Notes. External links, Official website, U.S. Men's National Soccer Team Profile, Stats and Analytics at Football Database, Archive of United States Men's National Soccer Team Results 1885 Euro 1979, Archive of United States Men's National Soccer Team Results 1980 Euro, U.S. National Soccer Team Players Association Official website, Association of Football Statisticians U.S. Soccer Team website.